Yesterday 40s, today we drop about 10 degrees and we get wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour. So we're right back to the cold and blustery conditions. You'll want to bundle up as you head out the door. Wind right now not all that impressive. So Center Park's temperature of 30, the wind chill not moving much, but it is going to feel significantly colder throughout the day because our highs don't move much from where we're sitting right now. 30 in the park, but 29 in Bridgeport and Islip, 28 in Sussex, Morristown and Somerville. But you can see the direction the cold air is coming from because Liberty at just 19 this morning, and we're feeling like single digits well north and west. So a bit of a breeze has already started to pick up, but more where that came from. We expect these numbers to continue to climb throughout the day, and our gusts by late morning, early afternoon, 35 to 40 miles per hour. We are behind this cold front, so the colder air continues to filter in. That could inspire a few flurries well north and west of the city, given that there's a lake effect snow event for western New York and upstate New York. But most of us are seeing sunshine with a few clouds mixing in to go along with these cold conditions. Our highs right around the freezing mark, feeling like 20s with the wind. I'll let you know how long the chill sticks around in the full AccuWeather forecast. But Heather, what's the latest on that closure?
Unfortunately, it's still closed.
5:12 now on this cold start to our Tuesday morning. Yesterday's highs landing in the 40s. Today, we fall about 10 degrees and we have wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour, which will make it feel even colder. Right now, we're waking up to upper 20s, low 30s across the tri-state. But the problem is we don't move much from right here. Colder air continues to filter in behind the front that cleared us yesterday. So our highs today just capped close to the freezing mark. And again, with those gusty winds, the forecast high of 32 or 33 will feel like 20s. We will get sunshine, a few clouds in the mix this afternoon and evening, but mostly dry conditions to go with our very cold and breezy weather through Wednesday into Thursday. By Friday, we're starting to thaw out. And by Saturday, you see a rain chance returning to the region. That's when our next storm system moves through. But with temperatures climbing back to the 40s, at this point, it does look like mainly rain rather than snow. But I'll have the details for you in the full AccuWeather forecast coming up. Heather?
Looking at the east side of town.
Someone out there likes the cold.
It's not going to feel as pleasant, I'll tell you that much. You got to bundle up again as you head out the door. Temperatures drop 10 degrees and we have the gusty wind picking up today. The combination of both going to make it feel especially frigid. 30 degrees right now under mostly clear skies. We look at Long Island, upper 20s, low 30s. So the colder air hasn't quite reached it here yet. It is still filtering it. Not that this isn't cold. It is 32 right now in Roslyn, 28 in Greenwich, 29 for Comac and West Hampton Beach. As you look off to our north and west, though, this is where the colder conditions are. Air temperature in the teens up near Monticello, where we're at 27 in Andover, 30 in Newark in the Park, 28 in Belmar. But then you got to factor in the wind. And right now, a noticeable breeze. But we're turning that up heading into this afternoon. And we expect our gust speeds right between 35 and 40 miles per hour, which means the wind chill factor in full effect today. Already this morning, it's feeling like teens and 20s for many of our suburbs. The wind chill at 17 in Sussex and Newburgh, but check out Rock Hill. It feels like single digits. Wind chill of 19 this morning in Belmar, 20 in Islip. So the wind is a big weather story today, and it will keep our temperatures feeling like teens and 20s this afternoon, even as our highs climbs to the low 30s, right around the freezing mark. So this is what you got to dress for. Even if you're looking out your window and seeing a little sunshine, know that with the wind, it feels like teens and 20s. Our actual air temperature today will climb into the upper 20s, low 30s, about 10 degrees colder than yesterday. Looking at Suffolk County, we'll land near 33 in Smithtown, in Melville, for Fire Island, Quogue, Riverhead, all landing close to 33. But again, feeling much colder than that. Satellite and radar looking clear and quiet. We'll wake up to sunny skies as the sun rises in about 2 hours. The front has cleared the area. But behind this front, the colder air filtering in, and we have that stiff west wind. That's turning on a lake effect snow machine near Orchard Park just south of Buffalo this morning and near Watertown. Some of those flurries could hold together to bring our northern neighborhoods a little bit of light snow at times today and tonight, but most of us stay dry under that mix of sun and clouds, so the forecast focus will remain on the cold conditions. Right around sunrise, expect temperatures in the teens well north and west, 20 in the city, but again, feeling colder with the wind. And our highs today under a mix of sun and clouds just close to the freezing mark. Even colder moving into tomorrow morning as the cold air continues to filter in behind the front. We'll wake up to teens and low 20s with wind chills feeling like the single digits tomorrow morning. So very cold, very blustery. You see that wind planner today showing the gust by midday 35 to 40, and that's where we'll stay for the second half of the day. Forecast highs near 33 under a mix of sun and clouds. An evening snow shower can't be ruled out well north and west, and then wind chill in the single digits moving into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, a similar story. Highs near freezing, gusts gusty wind close to 30 miles per hour, and that means wind chills will be in the 20s. The wind will weaken by Thursday, but we stay cold, and then we do start to moderate that temperature as we thaw out a bit by Friday. Looks like our next storm system coming this weekend. Heather?
All right, let's take a look at what's going on here on the Harlem River Drive as you go on.
In the Weather Center, because Sam just did his hair, but...
Oh, sorry, Danny. Sorry, is that what we do to our guests?
Don't worry, Sam will be here.
Just locally now.
Yeah, locally. Right here, we're seeing an AQI of Tresemme, the cheap stuff. Let's get you outside. Sorry. 30 degrees and clear. Happy to report that on 28 minutes, Sam will be on the air. I will step out for some fresh air if I make it to that point. 30 degrees right now under a mostly clear sky. The weather story this morning is cold and windy. Unfortunately, air temps dropping about 10 degrees from yesterday as that gusty wind picks up, contributing to the issue. Right now, air temp at 30 in the park, but we're seeing 20s for many of our suburbs. And as you look off to the north and west, Liberty in the teens, that's the direction the cold air is coming from. So you know those temperatures, they're going to feel chilly today. In fact, we don't move much. We hover right around here. Wind chills are in the teens and 20s for most of the area, and the wind speeds are starting to pick up. Our gusts today by midday, 35 to 40, and that will contribute to the cold feel behind this front that brought us the gusty wind. So the day planner today, you see we hover right around the freezing mark. It'll feel like 20s under a mix of sun and clouds. I'll let you know how long the cold sticks around coming up. But Heather, how's the commute?
That was hairspray. I thought it was...
5:41 now on our Tuesday morning. Much colder and much windier. That's what we have in the forecast today. Yesterday hitting highs in the 40s. Today we drop about 10 degrees. But with gusts to 40 miles per hour, those highs near freezing feel more like 20s. And you might notice that means we don't move much from where we're sitting right now. We're waking up to temperatures in the 20s and low 30s, and that's right around where our highs hover. As the sun rises around 7:19, we will see sunshine with a few clouds mixing in this afternoon. But you notice temperatures capped close to 32 degrees. And what that day planner doesn't show you is the wind. Our gust speeds by midday ramp up 35 to 40 miles per hour. We do expect mostly dry conditions, maybe a flurry well north and west of the city tonight. So the forecast focus really is on that drop in temperature and the gusty wind. And unfortunately, looking at the headlines, we hang on to the cold. Highs close to the freezing mark both tomorrow and Thursday before moderating by the end of the week. I'll have the hour-by-hour futurecast for you coming up. Heather?
All right, so Danny.
Yeah, so that particularly dangerous situation distinction goes into effect today and tomorrow with gust speeds back near 70 miles per hour in the mountains of Southern California. When we had the initial event last week, last Tuesday, Wednesday, gust speeds were close to 100, so it's not quite that significant, but still with extremely dry conditions and gusts to 70, that means very, very critical fire danger. We'll get to that in a second. Right now, what we're focused on close to home, colder conditions and gusty wind. We're waking up to sub-freezing lows this morning in the 20s for our northern neighborhoods, but as you look well north and west of the city, teens. In Central Park right now, 30, 28 down the shore for Belmar, 29 for Islip as the colder air continues to filter in behind the front that cleared us yesterday. But check out the wind gusts today. By midday, by noon, we're looking at gusts peaking 35 to 40 miles per hour, which means our highs close to freezing feel much colder. And we're already feeling the chill this morning with wind chills in the teens for Newburgh, Sussex, Morristown, White Plains. North of the city, it's frigid. Check out Rock Hill with single-digit wind chills. Most of us will feel like teens and 20s through this afternoon. So even as our highs climb close to freezing, it won't feel like it. It'll feel even colder, which is going to be insult to injury after highs yesterday hit the 40s. Actual air temperature today in the upper 20s, low 30s. So this is below normal and about 10 degrees colder than yesterday. Our northern neighborhoods mainly sub-freezing, even at our warmest today. Dover at 28, same for Maybrook and Rocky Hill, 31 today in Cortland, Greenberg at 32. Satellite and radar this morning quiet. So as the sun rises right around 7:19, we will see sunshine. We're keeping a close eye on a few flurries for our northern neighborhoods with the wind, strong wind out of the west behind the front. Lake effect snow machine on south of Buffalo near Orchard Park and in Watertown. And some of those showers could hold together a few snowflakes for our northern neighborhoods. Now to get to the west coast here, yes, particularly dangerous situation with this red flag warning today and tomorrow. In the valleys, gusts peak generally 45 to 55, but in the mountains, 70 miles per hour. Keep in mind the brush is extremely dry as they're coming off months and months of dry conditions, but also extremely low relative humidity means if a fire starts, extreme fire behavior so we're right back to those critical firefighting conditions. For us, mainly dry conditions today. I mentioned a few flurries that could work into our northern neighborhoods second half of the day, but most of us are focused on the cold and the wind. Mix of sun and clouds, highs close to freezing, wind chills in the 20s. Overnight into tomorrow morning, even colder. Air temperatures falling to the teens and 20s, feeling like single digits well north and west of the city. And then tomorrow's highs land about the same spot. So we're settling into a stretch of very cold days. Today, that cold is aided by the wind, making it feel like the 20s. Tonight, wind chills in the single digits and teens. And tomorrow will land about the same place. Mix of sun and clouds, highs close to freezing, feeling like 20s. The wind weakens on Thursday, but it takes us until Friday to climb back into the 40s. And then our next storm system, that slides through this weekend, but it should be warm enough that that's mainly rain rather than snow. Heather?
All right, Dani. So